Sterling work in the studio as ever today on what's been a very busy afternoon. We calmed things down this evening with just 6 races from here at Epsom on what is Summer Night's Rewind Night. They're calling it Naughty's Night with Judge Jules, and therefore I'm glad I dressed appropriately for the evening, as did David Cleary, as he always does. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I knew what to wear for 80s night when I was here 3 weeks ago, but I didn't have a clue what Naughty's night might be appropriate, so I'm afraid I'm just in usual summer wear.
Yeah, normal attire for us here on Racing TV. That is what the contract says. What do you make of the card?
Well, it's a little thin. Some of the handicaps are not that good quality, but they're quite competitive, and the 2-year-old race, I thought there were some interesting horses in there. It's only 6 runners, but they're horses with potential, so we'll look forward to that.
Right, I have one strong fancy on the card. It's Allegiant in the second race if he stays. Have you got a strong fancy?
I didn't, to be honest, but we'll find what I fancy as we go through.
We'll go with mine then. Okay, right, first race coming up. Runners have already gone down to post. The horses were looking magnificent in the parade ring in the sunshine, as they tend to do, and there's been quite a bit of money for the favourite here, the Lord's Walk. He's been quite nicely backed. Betting down the bottom of your screen, he's a 9-4 shot at the moment, David, and he's obviously got a leading chance here over this trip. He won here last time. It was a reasonable time that he posted. He won earlier this year at Leicester as well, didn't he? He can miss the break a little bit, but he's probably still feasible off a mark of 64.
Yeah, I think that the thing last time was that they changed the headgear, put a visor on him instead of cheek pieces, and changed the rider. Tora Hammer Hansen was on board. He was well backed last time. That was over a mile, but going back to a mile and a quarter won't be any problem for him, really. Just walking backwards a little bit as his girth's being adjusted, but I think he's the right horse to be favourite, the only course winner in the field.
Yeah, although the Amaretto, trained locally by Jim Boyle, he was second to him last time up. He clearly handles the track all right. There he is in shot in the blue and white checks with the blue sleeves.
Yeah, he made the running on that occasion, and perhaps had the advantage of the run of the race, but the Lord's Walk got the better of him. On revised terms, there shouldn't be an awful lot between the two of them, but I suspect that, well, I think I'd rather have the Lord's Walk. Again, going back up in trip shouldn't really be a problem for him. If they want to employ the same sort of tactics again, you have got Rainbow Jazz in the race, who's a regular pacemaker, so Amaretto could well have competition for the lead.
Yes. My fancy for the race is Light of Air. I was hoping he'd be an each-way price, but he's 9-2, sort of verging on it. But he's rated 60, and I thought he came back to form last time at Newbury. That was a good effort, and I noted a really good run at Brighton at the end of April too, which on the basis of that I thought he had quite a good chance in.
Yes, and his rider today, Louis Garrigan, who's the least experienced rider in the race by some way, that was actually his first ride when he rode him at Brighton on that occasion. And although the horse was hanging under him on that track, he ran pretty well. It's just the rider's 6th ride, and he's still waiting for his first winner. But you can certainly see the case for him, as you say, certainly for finishing in the first 3.
Yeah, wasn't it about him that Timeform said for his last run that could have done with stronger handling, didn't they say? Bit harsh if it was his first ride.
No.
Was it him? No. There was one in this race.
No, he wasn't on last time.
All right, okay. Well, there was one in this race that got that particular comment. But I thought he was all right at round about 9-2 or 5-1. I thought he'd go pretty well. More money for the Lord's Walk in at 2-1. Subliminal, David. Tell me what you think about Subliminal.
We're never less than fair at Timeform. Subliminal, I thought he looked tremendous.
Depends who's writing it.
I thought he looked tremendous in the paddock. I thought he looked really well, which may be something connected with the fact that he's only won 2 of his 35 starts, in that he looks after himself a bit. No blinkers on today. Didn't run that well last time, but he'd only been off 4 days, and he'd run well on the 2 previous starts. So you could see him running creditably, but it's his record is a bit off-putting, isn't it?
Yeah, he ran okay a couple of starts ago at Lingfield, didn't he, as you say, and then he tried to back up quickly 4 days later, and he that's probably not him. He probably doesn't want a quick turnaround, to be honest. Who does, really, if I'm honest? But at this time of year, it's hard not to get one here on Racing TV.
I'm saying nothing.
Okay. What else should we mention there? Anything at a big price that you think? Rainbow Jazz is part of the pace. You've already mentioned that. Horse, anything else?
Yes, I mean, he's dropped £9 below his last winning mark. He had hard to draw encouragement, really, from his efforts this year. That's the only thing, really.
Yeah, so the Lord's Walk for you, although it's a restrictive price?
Yeah, I could see Bayston Hill running all right. The form of his win has worked out okay, and he ran creditably despite the run of the race when dropped out last time out, so I think he might run better than his price.
Okay, light of air for me after posting a reasonable time figure when running at Brighton earlier this year, and bounced back to form at Newbury last time. It's Anthony Ennis in the commentary box. Hello, Anthony.
Hi, Angus. Yes, great to be back here at Epsom. Last couple of outs ago, there's the colour change, which is Dream Magic in the pink and green. Dream Magic now goes in, all in, ready for the first, and they're off. Jumped away over 1.25 miles for opening race, the Steve Donoghue Apprentices handicap, and one of the first to show is Amaretto in the blue and white colours to lead to Gendarme and the wide racing Dream Magic, now in the pink and green colours. Racing in fourth is Subliminal, in fifth on the inside is Rainbow Jazz, then a gap to Settle Petal, who's further back with the Lord's Walk, who's about 2 lengths behind. The back duo are Louis Garogan on the inside riding Light of Air for Gary Moore in the beige colours, and the back marker at the moment is just Bayston Hill and Scott McCullough as they begin to make the first left-hand turn over on the far side. So Amaretto in front for Sebastian Woods, leading by 2 lengths to Gendarme in the black colours under Kieran Fallon in second place. Dream Magic racing wide in third. Subliminal is in fourth place on the outside of Rainbow Jazz. 2 more lengths back to find Settle Petal, and then on the inside is Light of Air. Wider out, the Lord's Walk is being held up, and then towards the back of the field we have Bayston Hill as they make the turn at the top of the track now, racing downhill towards Tattenham Corner, and up front it's still Amaretto who leads on the inside for Sebastian Woods. Amaretto to in second place Gendarme, who's racing a clear second. Third place for Dream Magic on the outside, and the red jacket of Subliminal racing in fourth. Settle Petal, the dark cap, is next. The Lord's Walk is now on the move out around horses. Up on the outside towards the inside is Rainbow Jazz. Bayston Hill with the cheek pieces is towards the back, and Light of Air is now just the back marker. 3 furlongs left to go. They're in line for home. Amaretto still shows the way, the blue sleeve jacket by 2 lengths to Gendarme in second. Settle Petal making ground. Extremely wide is the Lord's Walk as they head down inside the 2. Still there Amaretto, Gendarme, Settle Petal. The Lord's Walk looks a danger now on the outside for Thor Hammer Hansen, the maroon and light blue colours. Up front it's Gendarme in the black who got to the front and leads for Kieran Fallon. Here on the outside's the favourite, the Lord's Walk, running on well. One inside the final furlong. Gendarme far side, but here's the Lord's Walk who's thundering home out wider. The Lord's Walk, Gendarme fighting back close home. Gendarme turn back the Lord's Walk's challenge. Third Bayston Hill never nearer, and home in fourth was Light of Air. It's quite tight, but Gendarme fought back to make it 23 for the season for Kieran Fallon.
Well, they've officially called a photo here at Epsom, but I'm pretty sure Gendarme has fought back to win for Kieran Fallon, who's nudged his head in front when it looked for all the world as if the Lord's Walk was coming to win down the outside, but Kieran Fallon found another thrust from Gendarme late on, and he has won. You can see that his head on the far side dipped down right on the line to deny the favourite to the Lord's Walk. And back in third place, I think it was Bayston Hill, was it, running on David in the closing stages, but I'm sure you'll concur that Gendarme has won.
Yes, definitely. Kieran Fallon had him tracking the pace all the way. Looked as if the Lord's Walk was going to come and nail him. In fact, got to the front, but the winner has battled on really well under a good ride. Bayston Hill also came from the back of the field.
Finish for first place. First, number 1, Gendarme. Second, number 7. Third,
Gendarme has indeed won under Kieran Fallon for Alexander Dunn. Take 10 to 1, the winner, who's beaten the favourite in a driving finish. And Gendarme jumped from Stall 9 was always prominent. He tracked Amaretto, who set out to try and make all the running. He faded pretty tamely, Amaretto. A disappointing effort, given that he was quite close to the Lord's Walk last time up. Gendarme took it up, and then I thought he was a sitting duck for the favourite.
Yes, it looked like it. I wasn't sure I mean, we'll see more from the head on, but I wasn't sure the Lord's Walk was necessarily helping his rider. And once he's got alongside or just in front, the other one has battled back on the inside.
Yeah, he has battled back. He was definitely headed, and he found a little bit more. But here Amaretto is going to go and jump to the front under Sebastian Woods. He came out of stall 7. He's just going to establish a fairly cosy advantage. Gendarme has sat handy, and the Lord's Walk has sat a fair way back really off this pace.
Yes, Bayston Hill is actually behind him, the horse that finishes third. The thing about the early part of the race was that Rainbow Jazz in the fancy headgear, he just never went a yard in the race, so there wasn't competition for Amaretto in the front, and Fallon on Gendarme has been able to sit comfortably in behind. Just looking through his recent runs, he was probably over too long a trip last time, and the ground might have been against him the time before, but the form of his win at Windsor hadn't really worked out, so this looks to be a better effort on his part, in a good position under a very good claiming jockey.
Yeah, indeed. He's only £2 above his last winning mark, Gendarme, and he's had a perfect sit through this race, and a good toe from Amaretto, who, given how the race was run, should have run better, really.
Well, I think so, and he's got form at 1.25 miles. The Lord's Walk has sort of comprehensively confirmed the placings with him, so his finishing effort, given that he'd had a relatively soft lead, was disappointing. At this stage,